Hey, just wanted to do a quick live stream. Make sure I remember even how to live stream. It took me a good 15 minutes to get this set up, but I just wanted to do sort of a sharing, I guess, of just some thoughts I had on the recent Galaxy's Edge and the lightsabers that you can make over there, the custom sabers. Now, I love lightsabers. I have actually a lot of the basic lightsabers, just the plastic $10 ones that telescope out, and they're colored and they fold all the way into the hilt and click closed inside of there and stay inside. Um, Love those a lot. I also have some electronic ones. I have two of the force action ones with the spring and the electronics and the light and the sounds and the full telescoping feature and the full collapsibility. I love those. Those are probably the best mass-produced lightsabers that were ever made. And I'm really sad that we don't have those anymore. But I also really enjoy watching like Ludo sports and that sort of more sporty version of lightsaber combat where people use stunt sabers to essentially fight, and those are the same lightsabers that would be used in the new movies. And when I first heard that, I thought that was such a cool thing, because originally lightsabers in movies were very fragile. They're very fragile things. Um, but with all of that being said, with Galaxy's Edge opening and them having a lightsaber construction sort of area where you can go through this experience and create a lightsaber and with your own color and whatever. I just kind of wanted to see if it was actually worth it, because there are already a lot of places where you can get a stunt saber with sound and lights and all of that stuff. So there's Vader's Vault. There's I think City of Sabers, Hampton's handcrafted lightsabers, and then of course there's Ultra Sabers, of which I own one, and there's also Saberforge, which a friend of mine also owns. I bought it for him for his birthday, I believe a year or two ago. Um, so I just kind of wanted to take a look and see how Disney kind of stacks up to Saber, specifically Saberforge. Ultra Sabers isn't very attractive in look, but Saberforge has always been sort of attractive. So let me see if I can share my screen here and not mess it up. Let's see. So I'm going to assume that my screen is shared, and I'm just going to pull this down here. For those that don't know, Ultra Sabers are pretty cool. They don't have the best handles, in my opinion. They're very basic. Here's their website. And you can see prices definitely range, as to their designs. So that's already the first thing that I'm not a fan of in the Disney Star Wars. I haven't seen all the designs, but from what I have seen, they're not really that great. They seem kind of honestly, they seem kind of cheap. I know they're supposed to be made of metal, but they do seem cheap to me. But another thing, they seem big. Like like if a lightsaber could have a diaper, that is what that is what those hilts would be. And it's because what's actually inside is you got the metal casing with the crystal, and the blade goes into that, and then the metal um, decorations and stuff go on the outside, and that makes the hilt look kind of comically big compared to the blade size. But here's Ultra Sabers, and I'll show you kind of some of their stuff here real quick. This isn't kind of the main thing I wanted to look at though, but you can see their hilts range from kind of bland to they get pretty nice. And now a lot of these are more for, again, stunts and fights and playing with lightsabers, filming and stuff like that. If you're actually going to be like hitting the blades together, so like force effects and stuff like that weren't really built for this kind of hard hitting play. But some of these don't come with blades, some of these don't come with sound. But you can see the hilts are very nice, and there's already more variety here. You've got some tonfas, you've got actual like shiny metal, and the size, the proportion of the hilt to the blade looks a lot better in my opinion than the Disney one currently. Um, you can see here they've got like a flange right there. Um, I don't even know where this comes from. But they've got a lot of inspired designs. Very, very unique. Here's one based off of Qui-Gon Jinn's saber, half of Darth Maul's saber, and the names are a fun play on words. For example, the half Darth Maul saber is called the Menace. But the real reason I did this is because I actually wanted to check out Saberforge. So Saberforge recently introduced something where you can build your own lightsaber and kind of get an idea of what the price would be. And this is the one that I built. I have no idea what this is going to look like. I hope it doesn't look like utter garbage with the frame rate. But this is the lightsaber that I built. And with this lightsaber, you've got your blade, you've got your emitter, you've got the LED light, you've got the switch, which is right here for turning it on and off. Let me rotate that around. You've got your crystal housing here. You've got a handle here, and you've got this is great, you've got a joint here, and you've got another handle, and then you've got your pommel. So already, this whole thing is a long-handled lightsaber, and that's the kind of style of lightsaber I've always liked. A lightsaber with a longer handle than normal. I don't know why, but that's just what I like. Realistically, if you were building a lightsaber, the bare minimum would be just the blade, the light, the emitter, the switch, and the body and the pommel. This core right here with the little crystal spinning around, not necessary. The extension isn't necessary, and neither is a secondary handle. So just keep that in mind as I go through these numbers. Anyway, putting this all together, I did it as best as I could to kind of mimic one of the lightsabers from Galaxy's Edge. And in those lightsabers, you can select your crystal and put it in, and so that's why I put this extra crystal housing here with a little crystal inside, and there's an LED that shines on it, makes it glow in whatever color you want. They have a lot more colors than Disney does as well. Yeah, but this was the lightsaber I built, and they've got a number of selections. So if I click here and I go to emitters, you can see here they've got a whole bunch of lightsaber emitters. You've got one that's kind of like an angled Kylo Ren one. You've got one here that's kind of like weird alien insectoid feet. You've got one here that looks kind of like a Graflex. You've got one over here that's kind of basic. Here's one that's more in line with Kylo Ren. Two of them, actually. And with all of these hilts and all of these hoists, there's, thousands of combinations, because it's not just the emitters that you can, switch around. For example, I can swap in this one here. And just like that, I've got a different saber, but you can also switch around the switches, and you can see all the different switches that you can have here. And some of them are modeled, again, after lightsabers in the Star Wars universe. Some of them are custom made. Some of them are kind of newly introduced and made by fans. Same thing with bodies. Like all of these are great. Let me swap this out real quick. Yeah, you don't get this kind of selection from the Star Wars experience at the store, as far as I'm aware. As far as I'm aware, you can only build a certain length of lightsaber, so you can't have a double-bladed one. As far as I'm aware, you can't have a long-handled lightsaber or anything like that. You're on a time crunch. And of course, there's also like a lot of kids that are just kind of wandering around and getting on your nerves because kids are annoying. Anyway, yeah. As for colors, I can go through those real quick, and you can kind of see you've got amber, you've got yellow, you've got green, you've got lime green, you've got mint green, you've got cyan, you've got deep blue, you've got medium blue, you've got light blue, and of course it's changing the color of the blade as well. You've got Arctic blue, you've got white, you've got indigo. One thing to note with the white blades, I don't know if Saberforge does this, but Ultra Sabers, when I bought a white blade, it came with lenses that I could put in front of the LED that can change the white blade to any other color, because white can be transformed to any other color. And that's just something that you're not going to really get from Disney either. So how much does this all cost, right? So I built my lightsaber, and I grabbed my parts list, and I went through the Saberforge site, and I went through and I kind of set up everything. And this is how much it would cost for everything here. You got a $310, and that is for all of this stuff over here. And I just doxed myself, whatever. There's a PO box. Anyway, that's for all of this stuff over here. Not a big deal. Um, yeah, and just keep in mind this 310 is already well over what Disney would necessarily want you to do, because again, let me close this list down. Again, I added on extra things. For example, this isn't required, this joint, and this isn't required, and this piece is like $10, and this piece here is, I think it's either $20 or $30. So knock that off the price. And again, also this isn't required. I only chose it because the Galaxy's Edge lightsabers have the crystal that you can also see, so I decided just to put it there just to get an idea of what the price would be if you wanted to kind of mimic it. Yeah, so I put that all together. You got about $300 here, a little over $300. Well, it's actually $285 with shipping. And so then I went to check out Disney. So just to get to the park for one day, you're paying $149 before tax. And then I'm going to use this YouTube video here because I don't actually know where he got this, but right here the lightsaber is $200 plus tax. So if we just do some quick maths, that's already $348. That's already more expensive than my custom built lightsaber from this website, right? And that's not to mention I did this from the comfort of my own home. I didn't have to go out and schedule a time and wait in line, and from what I've heard the lines are terrible, and spend hours and hours and then build just this rinky-dink thing, and you only get 4 colors, I think, in the build. You get purple, green, blue, and red. There are other colors, 2 other colors. There's a white, and there is white and yellow that you can buy from a shop, but you can't use those when you're building the lightsaber. You have to use one of the 4, and you can switch it out for what yellow or white later when you go to the shop. There's also apparently a black crystal, but all it does is mimic the red crystal with, I think, some different sounds, but that's about it. So with all of that concerned, I don't really see or feel the need to go to Disney to get a custom lightsaber, when I can go to a place that's tried and true and get the same thing, actually get something better quality and all of that stuff for overall a lower price, between the price of admission, the time waiting, and the price of the saber at the store itself. Yeah, that's kind of what I just wanted to make this about, just my thoughts. Um, the only reason I would really go to Galaxy's Edge is if I was going with a group. I could see doing it with a group of friends could be fun, because yes, it would be entertaining to have that experience of building a lightsaber with your friends or your family and going through it, and there's nothing that can replace that, and that's something Disney can deliver on. Sure, yeah, the atmosphere and the sort of gravitas that comes with making, quote, your own lightsaber with the limited choices that they have. You can't get that from sitting on your computer and building it. I understand that, but if it's just about having the item and building something custom made, I think either Saberforge or Ultra Sabers or even Vader's Vault, if you can figure out how to get a hold of those people, you'll have a better experience with them, because it will be custom. If I remember correctly, Vader's Vault even can do like one of a kind sabers where they make it specifically for you, and if anybody else wants that saber, they can't get it, because that is your saber. And I don't think that's something you can get from the Disney experience. It's got to be, it's mass produced, right? It's not machined by like actual fans. It's machined by an actual probably machine. So that's probably the only reason I'd go to Galaxy's Edge, is for that experience of building a lightsaber with friends. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, because I save money in this regard, my friends, they're not into Disney Star Wars either, actually. We all saw Galaxy's Edge, saw it had nothing to do with the new trilogy. It was all sequel stuff, and we all just kind of like pieced out. We just weren't interested. We have no attachment to those characters. We loved The Force Awakens when it first came out, and then we never really watched it again. And I tried to watch it again, and I tried to just get through it, and I couldn't. I said, well, I'll just skip to the scenes that I liked, and I kept skipping scenes until I finally got to the end and realized, oh wow, I just actually didn't like any of it. So I don't see myself going to Galaxy's Edge anytime soon to actually get a saber. Um, the only reason, the only real reason, the only thing that I like about Galaxy's Edge that I can give Disney 100% of credit for is this dude. Like, they actually have an important Ithorian that runs a shop, and that makes me happy because if you know anything about my channel, you know that I love Ithorians. Um, and they actually put an Ithorian shopkeeper in there, and that's the only thing that made me get out of here. That's the only thing that made me excited to actually want to go to Galaxy's Edge. I was like, man, they've got an Ithorian there. I would go there just to take a picture of him and leave, and maybe buy a couple souvenirs if there's anything there that's actually worth a dang. But then at the same time, I realized, am I really gonna pay like upwards of $150 just to go take a picture with the animatronic? No. Maybe if the price drops to like $85, which I know will never happen because this is going to be another little cash cow, but maybe one day I'll go when the crowds die down and when the price probably drops or there's some sort of free, not free, there's never going to do free, but if there's some sort of like discount or something offered through either my work or some school or something like that, maybe I'll try to go, but it's not really a priority. And as much fun as it would be to build a lightsaber, with all the disregard they've done to the original trilogy and even the how important it was to build a lightsaber in the Old Republic and stuff, and all the lore behind building a lightsaber that has been disregarded, I don't really feel the need to go. It doesn't. I understand that people may have that like a magic feeling around it, right? Because building a lightsaber is a really cool experience, and this is finally like the quote official way to build a lightsaber. This isn't Blade Builders, or this isn't Star Tours and that little shop and the little kiosk in the middle of everyone trying to check out. This is an actual dedicated place to go, like you are in a youngling transitioning to a Padawan to build their own lightsaber. Something Rey hasn't even done yet. Like, you want to be ahead of the curve, you're ahead of Rey if you just go there and build a lightsaber. But then at the same time, it's not going to be your, like, yes, it'll be your lightsaber, you chose it, but it's not 100% unique to you because of the limited number of combinations and the limited number of colors. Like let me go over here to the lightsaber colors real quick, and you'll see what I'm talking about. If I come over here and I go to I just want colors. You know, let's just go over here. So yes, they also do like normal mass-produced lightsabers, but you can also custom make your own lightsaber. But like, if you take a look at the colors, just look at all the color options that you have. You've got deep red, you've got medium red, and red. You've got 3 reds. The Star Wars Park only gives you 1 red. You've got blood orange, which is between orange and red. You've got amber. You've got yellow. You've got lime. You've got normal green. You've got mint, cyan, arctic, light blue, medium blue, deep blue, indigo, purple. There's 2 purples, and there's pink, and there's frost, and there's white. The difference between frost and white, I think frost is like a bit of a cooler, slight blue tint. You can kind of see it in the picture. And then you've got, of course, white. But at Star Wars Land, you just have, you know, red, yellow, green, blue, purple, and white. And 2 of those colors you can't even use in the building process, even if you bought them ahead of time and go in with them. And I understand why, because if you bought them and go in with them, and some kid sees it, they might complain that I want yellow, and yellow isn't an option. So yeah, I understand that. But at the same time, how many colors is this? This is 3 by 6. So what is that, 18, 19? Hope my math is right, otherwise I'm embarrassing myself. But that's like almost 20 options here against Disney's 4 to 6, depending on how you want to count the colors. It just doesn't impress me. It doesn't fill me with any sort of desire to really go make one. Like, I see people building them, and I'm happy for them, and it looks like fun, but I can't drum up enough to say, yeah, I'm gonna drop $400 to go buy this lightsaber, or to go to the park and experience a lot that I don't like just to see the parts that I do like, which is probably just the lightsaber part and the Ithorian. That's probably all I would go for. The Millennium Falcon ride sounds terrible. Everything sounds terrible. Um, I would just go to see the shopkeeper. I probably wouldn't even buy anything. I'd probably just take a picture with it and like leave. But yeah, I just wanted to share my musings. I guess the crux of this is if you're thinking about going to Galaxy's Edge to get a custom lightsaber, don't be afraid to look online at other custom lightsaber shops like Saber's Forge or Ultra Sabers, because more than likely you'll find something better at those sites for a cheaper price than it would have cost for admission and the gas and all of that nonsense to go build your lightsaber with limited options. You get what you pay for.